Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxygen, on the show this evening as the one and only AK, Evening AK, and hopefully we might be joined by Big Southside as the night goes on, mate. He's got a prior engagement. Hopefully catch up with us as soon as possible. Evening, AK.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Rangers Radio listeners, both on Facebook and YouTube and all the other platforms. Evening, pal.
You want to go first, or do you want me to go first, or how, before we start? How about you, AK?
You know what, Ox? I felt empty last night. I managed to go to the game last night and take it in through Ibrox, and it wasn't any better at the stadium as it was in the tellies at home. But before we start, can I thank our regular listener, Scott Lorimer, for giving us his ticket? Very kind of him. Paid for it, by the way.
No chance. No chance.
Scott can confirm, if you don't mind.
I want to see receipts. I'm not believing that. By the way, why is your nose getting bigger?
No, I did. But no, Scott messaged me last night. Very good of him to say that he was having to work late and he didn't want to see his seat sit empty. So if I fancied going again, so I did. I obliged. You got to go and watch your team, support your team, Ox, if you get the chance, surely.
Couldn't agree more, mate. I couldn't agree more. Listen, shout out to Scott. We know Scott for the past, mate, and I hope his family are all doing well, mate. Top guy, you're Scott. Listen, mate, as the days went on, I don't know if I'm angry or disappointed or frustrated or I don't know where to take it, mate. I really don't. So I said a lot in my piece last night. In fact, I maybe said too much. I've got a lot more to say, but AK, the floor's yours. Or do you want us to dissect the game? You know, the first 90 seconds we were all right.
Russell Martin said that we dominated the first 2 minutes of the game.
Well,
brilliant.
If it's a case of dominating 2 minutes, Southside will be with us any time you like. You know what I mean?
They don't call me egg timer for nothing.
Look, the game started because away we've got a decent position. I think actually Danilo could have maybe slipped it to the Ant-Man. It shows to have a shot. It ricochets, goes up the park. There's absolutely no danger, AK. Talk me through how you seen what happened next.
Well, from where I was positioned, the Scott's seat's right behind the goal in the Brimlin stand, so I wasn't particularly sure. I just seen the big yellow figure of Butland at the other end of the park just stopped and standing, and I'm wondering why he's not coming to collect the ball. But I've obviously seen it, the footage on TV, and for me, the two centre-halves don't deal with it. Big Suter runs away for the ball because I think he's expecting Giga to go and deal with it. Butland's coming out there probably expecting a pass back after him. Big Giga thinks that Butland's coming for the ball, and here the bruised forward comes in there, nips in front of him. Butland's not moved, and he curls a shot in for 30 yards. A total disaster as a defence, and it just sums up how we are as a team in defence. It really was, and what a gift. I mean, Ibrox, the stadium, the atmosphere, the UB,
seat,
it just went flat. Totally flat.
On the seat, mate.
I know. It killed it stone dead. I mean, it reminded me of remember when we played Celtic a couple of years ago and they've got no fans in the stadium, we're right up for it, and then Maeda scores in the first. I'm like, what are you doing? You've just killed the crowd here right away, but awful, mate, awful.
Listen, it looked to me, and I watched it again last night. When you see it for the view that you had, mate, where you're sitting, right, and you're looking down, it looked to me as if Butland shout and they go wide to get the ball, mate. They've got to make sure they do their job. The shout might have been rang, but that can be, you've still got to keep playing. They actually stopped, mate. Yeah?
Aye.
And that's the problem. So there's been an error between them all. The Jiga, for me, gets the most of the blame. Butland's no blameless, mate, because if he's made a stupid shout, mate, and also the tactics on the blameless, mate, the way we're set up, we're expecting a goal to do too much, mate. Yeah? We've got De Giga, who we know is really fast for a centre-half. Would you agree with that?
Aye, he's nimble on his feet, yep.
Aye, bit like myself. And he can run. There was no danger, mate. Absolutely no danger. We made the danger ourselves, mate. And you're right, sort of energy out the team, yeah? And the place, yeah?
Yep, 100%. It's just totally self-inflicted. Kamikaze football. We've spoke about it already, this stage of the season. What are we doing with this high line? Christ, I think Ziga actually started that ball and he was in his own half, for the Danilo shot. It was good play. I can't mind who the Bruce player was, but he's probably not even looked and he's just sent a ball through there because their gaffer speaks about it, saying we know where to pick their hole.
What you would do. It's so simple what you would do. If you were playing against us, chip it into no man's land, put it down the wings where where you're not narrow. When we're out of possession, put it in halfway between the goalkeeper and the centre halves. It's chaos, mate. Yeah, it's just the whole thing, but we'll come to that. We'll come to that. Yeah, I've got a lot to say on that, and I'm sure some of the listeners. So, it starts off bad, but boy, did it get worse. The second goal. Have you seen it back, mate?
Aye, I seen it this afternoon. It came for a corner.
Aye.
And we didn't deal with it. I think it was it Raskin that attempted to clear the ball, and then Rothwell made a kind of header out
that was the third goal, mate.
Oh, was it, right?
Are you sure you were at the game last night, mate? Are you sure?
Definitely, I was there. Right. I was the defender. He got the shot on goal, and Suter made an attempt to play the ball, and he scuffed it, and it just went by. It was just so simple, but where I was sitting, obviously I could see it better in the second half. Anytime Bruce got a corner kick, see your zonal marking, the way we set up.
Mate. It's shocking, mate. It's absolutely shocking.
There's nobody taking responsibility for their men. But you know what was more alarming, particularly with the outswingers, Ox, and you've said this before, you don't like the outswingers because everybody missed you clear it. But what they do, they've got three guys on the edge of the box.
And we've nabbed it.
To shut them down. And that's where the danger comes. See if nobody clears that ball and it floats through everybody, they've got three running in. It is just, and we've got every player. We've not even got an outlaw. We've not got guys in the post.
Ant-Man, Kasama, why are they back there? Why are they not up the parts down in the halfway line, mate, with that pace? That keeps three of them back, doesn't it?
100%. It's just so... I caught a wee bit of Billy's call the last 5-10 minutes of the show by the time I came in, and he's 100% right. It was schoolboy stuff. How are we defending this minute? Whose responsibility? Surely you go back for man, that you should be picking up, something that's so obvious at that. And there's obviously people in there hiding. They're kidding on, they're marking somebody in the early. It's just so, oh my God. I'm tearing my hair out after 6-7 minutes of that game.
So it's got absolutely dreadful after a few minutes, mate. And then it gets worse, mate. It gets worse, yeah?
Aye, the third goal we want to know.
Aye.
I've got to say, right enough, it was some hit for the boy, but the collection, the individual errors leading up for it, outrageous. Nobody dealing with it, half-hearted efforts at it. As I say, Raskin could have cleared it Rothwell, poor header out. Guy collects at the edge of the box and then just thrashes a shot right into the side netting. Absolutely. From their point of view, it was some hit. And basically, 20 minutes, I seen loads of people leave in the Govan, in the Copeland. There wasn't many left round about me, but no doubt there probably was. But after 20 minutes, Ibrox was just silent. Even the UB fell silent, mate. And that's unlike them. I think everybody was shell-shocked.
Everybody was in shock, mate. Right, so Mike Williamson's our set-piece coach, mate, yeah?
Right.
Right. I suggest, Mike, you either think long and hard of what you're doing, or are you coaching to instructions, mate? Interesting to know. Because it's a shambles, mate. It's a shambles. And that second goal summed it up. So we won 3-0 down at half-time. And this is where I have got to give the team a bit of credit, mate. They rallied a bit in the second half. We weren't fantastic. We were good. And if we hadn't lost the first goal, God knows what it takes us. We get the goal. And by the way, we've got to give a shout out to young Jaden, the young boy that came in last night, made his debut. Let me make sure I get his surname right, yeah?
Megoma.
Aye. Well, I just want to make sure I get it right, mate, yeah? Because I thought he had a decent game. No mistakes, no errors. He showed he can tackle, mate. And he done the part and he put the cross in for Danilo to score, along with Gassama, who was by far the best player, mate. So we get the goal, pulls it back to 3-1, and it's just getting interesting. We've got half a chance with Danilo fluffed his lines, mate. I don't know if you would have noticed that. You were so far away. Yeah. And then we had the one with Gassama and we got the goal and it was disallowed. I'm disappointed with disallowed.
But what's your thoughts on it? Did you think it?
The law, maybe, but it could have went either way, mate. Yeah.
You know, as soon as a goalie claims that he's got two hands on the ball, and you know, Gassama has the stab with his foot, you know that the officials are going to go in favour of the goalkeeper, unfortunately for us, because there were 20 minutes to go in the clock at that time, if I remember right. It was really about 70 minutes. Aye. Ibrox was starting to believe a wee bit, and Bruges were a wee bit rattled. But having said that, Butland made a couple of smart saves to kind of keep it to 3. So it looked for me that Bruges, after they went 3-0 up, they seemed to settle for that. So I don't know whether that was partly because they had settled, they'd calmed their intensity and just keep things tight. Were no real threat to bore about, or else Rangers had up their levels and they got a roasting at half-time. But I'll tell you something interesting that I didn't notice at the game. But I was speaking to Southside after the game, and he noticed with his viewpoint, he's got a better viewpoint in the dugout than me. He noticed that Igaman and Russell Martin had a wee set too, and stormed up the tunnel and wasn't seen at half-time for the warm-up, and didn't come back out until everybody was taking their seat on the bench in the second half. So I think David maybe a wee war of words there, which is no good for the individual relationships in the team.
That looks as if there's something wrong in the camp, mate.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, mate. For the outside looking in. So we get the goal. You're right, we played better in the second half, but we're left back and we're outside left with by far our best players, mate. They were, for me, the only two good pass marks for the piece, mate.
Totally
maybe
agree.
Butland helped redeem himself a wee bit because he's some decent saves, mate, but we've still lost 3 goals. The right back, the 2 centre halves. The Jiga, who I know has got pace, mate, he had one big error, and done okay, and I just mean okay after that. But because of the big error, mate, it's less than pass marks because that's where you're judged. And well, I think the boys got a wee bit about him with that pace at centre back, But what I will say is, centre half against Dundee, no really his fault, but it happened. Caused a goal against Alloa, he's messing about. Caused a goal last night. Again, lack of concentration. He's inexperienced. Let's be honest. That back line last night, I think somebody sent me a text and I've not checked it out. Oh, by the way, I've been sending another text about you. If you're Mr. Scott Lorimer, yeah, just letting you know, mate. My spies are out there, mate. My spies are out there, mate. You'd be surprised who I know, right?
Good.
So, I don't know. I've not checked this out. That said that Tavernier last season played more games than the three along your back had played in their professional careers. I've not checked it out, mate, so I don't know if it's true or not. And that just shows you how inexperienced we were at the back, mate. Yeah.
Aye.
I don't know if
Well,
that's true because the boy Aarons must have played some games at Norwich or something. Yeah, but I've not checked it out. No. He might have meant top flight football or whatever. Maybe it was something that was in the championship. I don't know. But however, it just
that's a
shows you how
start and a half.
inexperienced we are at the back, mate.
Yeah.
And
So are you suggesting then that Tavernier should have started then
I
instead of
said it
Aaron?
last night in the show. I wouldn't have done. I don't
Right.
think I'd have put the boy in, but the boy done all
Well,
right.
he turned out to be a good call though.
Aye.
Didn't
So
he?
credit when it's due. So that was right. But I'll be honest, I've got a different opinion with my mucker Allbear, mate. One run Aaron's done last night, I thought he was dreadful, along with others, mate. Along with others, and I don't think he can defend at all. And he just falls down as soon as somebody leans into him, mate, or he's lost against the ball. I don't think Allbear thinks he'll be good when he gets into his stride going forward. He's always running inside, and the Ant-Man wants to come inside, and Diamande, who I thought him and Danilo were the worst, and I'm giving Diamande it because at least Danilo got a tap the ball into the net. Diamande was absolutely anonymous last night, AK.
Aye. Listen, I actually said that in our wee thing when we heard the team initially. If we're putting Aarons in the team and Diamande in the team and Danilo in the team on current form, we're starting 3 men down. Why is young Cameron dropped out to allow Diamande into the midfield? We could have went Asgard, we could have went Mikey Moore, we could have went Tavernier. There is options here, and obviously Rothwell is a kind of favourite. The manager they knew to the detriment of Raskin. But I thought our midfield was non-existent. They get run over. It was just a whole wacky leadership in the team. There were players hiding there, Ox again, and we hate to see that. Just because they've got dirty shorts doesn't mean they're putting a bit of effort. Raskin was going about, and he was fighting a lone battle with Sale. Danilo up front was chasing a lone battle with Sale. See, when we done the press, I think it was maybe about half an hour into the game or something, where everybody decided to come looking for the ball, and we rattled them. But we only done that, sparingly. We need to be doing that all the time because that's what Bruce were doing with us, and we kind of rattled them, and the crowd get up a wee bit. But it was just totally ineffective football. And it was so hard to watch. It really was.
Aye, and because of what's happening, mate, the manager's getting questioned. And rightly so, in my opinion, mate. I understand fully what Allbear's rationale for, you don't sack, what do you achieve when you sack managers early? And it might be proved right, but people they're not going to keep put up with that, mate. And then they'll question, and obviously there's times where you don't help yourself with some of the statements you make, As I said last night, you can kid some of the people some of the time, mate. You can't kid all the people all the time. A lot of people in that stadium know the game, mate. They know good players, they know tactics, they've watched for years, they've maybe played the game. Yeah, they're maybe no internationalists, but they've played the game, mate. And they know the basics. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And
they can't be kidded, mate. They're no daft.
Oh, so you look at our attendance there on Saturday. I was there at the Alloa game as well. Officially, it was 33,000, but I think it was a wee bit,
tickets sold.
Generous. Aye. You're probably talking more towards the 26, 27,000. But obviously, people would seat subbed and what have you. So 33,000 attendance on Saturday, and they gave officially last night it was 43,000. The supporters are already starting to say we're not happy with this.
And that's what will influence the board. That's maybe close to 20,000 people no turned up, mate. That's over £500,000 of revenue that the performances have cost us, mate, and they're starting to cost us. Because that game, that would be a game where you should be struggling to get a ticket for, yeah?
Aye, 100%. A game of that magnitude, and we've got empty spaces in our stadium. It's unheard of.
Aye.
But as you say, that's down to the tactics, the formation, the form, and the lack of belief in the players, the manager, the system, the lot, and that's starting to filter on the park. When that happens, there's a lot of young men out there, and they're not thriving.
We played 8 competitive matches and 2 first-team matches, first-team friendlies at Ibrox, right? So 10 games we've witnessed, yeah? We've 2 clean sheets. One of them was a miracle against Panathinaikos, yeah? Would you agree?
Yeah.
And Jack Butland was outstanding, let's be honest. The second one was more comfortable against Pilsner, and that's it, mate.
Aye.
Yeah. That's Middlesbrough, Bruges in a friendly, Middlesbrough in a friendly, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals against Bruges, 2 goals against Alloa, 1 goal against Dundee, mate. Yeah? And we'll learn from it. We've heard all this before. That's how people are so angry. It's the same traits and the same things, mate. Yeah? I know he's got a difficult job. I know he's got a hard job today. I know he wasn't everybody's choice. But the sound bites don't wash. We've heard them all before, AK.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And listen, it's indefensible. Some of the stuff that he's coming away with now, I could not believe my ears. His post-match press conference last night when he's starting to say that the resilience in the team, the second half was brilliant. Really proud of the team. Really proud. What?
With one shot.
3-0 doing it him.
One shot on target in the second half.
Obviously,
we got chopped off, which doesn't count. But we had only one shot on target in the second half, mate.
Can I read out the stats to you, Oxford? Have we looked at them before we come on there? Believe it or not, our XG was actually above Bruges, which I couldn't understand. We were 1.26 to their 1. 53% possession for us, 47. Jussi, 15 shots at goal, 1 on target. They had 10 shots at goal. They had 7 on target, 9 corners each, and Jack Butland made 4 saves. Mignolet made 0 saves.
But you could give him a save for that one that was chopped half, couldn't you? No, you've got to be honest. If he doesn't get his hand to that, it's a goal, isn't it?
Aye. Well, VAR probably saved him as well.
Aye. But if he doesn't get his hands to it, he's a second later. It's chopped. So Mignolet done his job there, and it's 3-2, and it could have been different. Mr. Fox has sent me a thing. He wants to ask you this, AK, and maybe my opinion as well. We brought on Mikey Moore last night. Yeah, no offence to the boy. I like his attitude and potentially might go on to be a good player. What you seen last night, Curtis Moore on the park, no difference, mate. And we're getting a guy who's on loan minutes, and we're not getting more in. But some of the stuff doesn't add up, mate.
Aye. Listen, I can't judge Mikey Moore on last night's performance.
Judging what you've seen so far, mate. Yeah.
I liked him on Saturday there, Ox. I thought he had a positive impact on the. I know it's a different level of opponent.
Did he have a more positive impact than the game than Curtis did?
No, Finlay Curtis came on and scored the goal, and he only got 10 minutes on the park last night. I think he only got about 8 minutes or something, if even that. And it's no. In fact, he didn't even come on last night, didn't he? No.
I'll read you this text that I got for Scott. I can confirm I did offer the ticket to EK for free. Thanks for your kind words, mate. Hope you're well. There you go, mate. Nothing about payment in that text. Maybe I'm not reading it right. Yeah?
Yeah, he did offer it for free.
All right, I'll just leave it. The man sent me, it just sent me. That. It's nothing about payment in that text, and I know Scott really well, and he wouldn't tell pot pies, mate.
Well, Scott, come on, send him one back. I got his bank details and I forwarded the money, so come on, don't want better than that.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Please don't shoot the messenger.
You're at it, you.
I'm not. I'll send you.
You're trying to make me look bad in front of all these listeners.
Oh, I could make you look bad, mate. Don't worry about
I do that myself.
Right, I'm glad we're laughing, mate, because I've not felt like it all day till I seen that picture of you coming up. But what I'm going to say, mate, is there's a big I don't know how to put this. There's a big cloud hanging over us, and a lot of people, it's the manager, it's the focus, they're in that cloud, mate. And I'll really be honest, I've racked my brains and I've thought about it all day, mate, and I've not got a lot of brains. And I don't think this is going to end well, Leakey. I really don't. And
it's not started well.
No, and it's getting worse. And the point that you made with the 7,000 empty seats last night, maybe 10,000 people if results had been there, you know, you're talking about nearly £500,000, £600,000 revenue so far. Yeah. Excuse me, it's been affected. And we're not even at the end of August, mate, just because of the cloud that's over us. And that's going to give the bean counters who work for the intelligent, wealthy men that run our club or own our club, it's going to make them think, what's happening here? Because you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. A chink, maybe, with the second half attitude. Yeah, we played a bit better. We got the ball forward a bit quicker, and we played a bit better, yeah. But nothing else. Right, we better get these phone lines open, yeah?
Absolutely, I get the callers in.
And then you can give me your thoughts on it all. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right. I've just been told I'm not allowed to say chink in the armour now. Better watch what I say. Get myself into trouble. Right. So that's this cloud, mate, and it's no good. I get that people didn't want Russell Martin, mate. I understand that. People are entitled to their view and they have their choices, and he wasn't, let's say, a popular choice. He got the job. There's nothing we as fans can do to alter that. You wish him all the best. At this moment in time, it's a car crash, Akey. And it's no getting beat 3-1 at home for Bruges, who are above maybe one of the better teams we'll play all season, mate. Yeah, it's not
the best team
everything, mate. It goes with it, yeah.
It's a collection. You're right. I mean, I don't know anybody that wanted Russell Martin in as manager, but see, to be honest with you, Ox, what was the picks? We didn't have a great deal to pick for. I mean, Barry for last year, I see some people are saying we should have kept Barry, we should have kept, I mean, Derek Ferguson, surprise, his brother, but I think Derek's quite an open, honest Rangers former player as well as supporter, but he reckons that Barry should have got the opportunity to go in there and with a transfer kitty, because obviously he's working with Clermont's players and he would have done a better job of settling down. I don't think so, and I think you're of the same opinion, because we spoke about it. How many games did we go 2-0 down last year? Out of all the games, brilliant winning away at Celtic Park, brilliant winning away at Fenerbahce. Apart from that, we could hardly win a game at Ibrox, and even Barry was coming out and questioning the players' attitude, and they weren't plenty instruction. But apart from that, we've got new owners, it's a new regime, they wanted their own man. Gerrard was put up there as a potential. I don't think that was ever on the table, but he quickly got told with his missus, nah, I don't fancy coming back to Scotland. So what was our options? Ancelotti Jr., a novice that had worked in a high standard club, but ways he wasn't the man, or Russell Martin. That's who we led to believe were the only two candidates that they interviewed. And 7 interview process is what Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell interviewed Russell Martin and Ancelotti, and they decided. But was the Americans involved in any of the discussions at all? Was Parag Marat there last night? Because he was at the Leeds game on Monday, so he was in the UK. If he was there last night, he would have seen for himself what the hell is happening at this club. We've invested to get into the Champions League, to play football. How are we not starting well? And what sort of football are we playing out there? Because that is kamikaze football. And listen, I've been, an advocate of no sacking managers. I defended Clement until the hilt. I'm like that the new, but I can see it. You're defending the indefensible, because he's no learning, he's no adapting, and it's just getting worse. And the crowd are right on top of all these young players that he's brought in, a lot of them loans as well, and they're folding in front of us. None of them can go out there and wear that shirt and fill that jersey and get the sleeves rolled up, and they don't have it. They're bought poorly then, if that is the case. They bought a lot of championship players, a lot of young boys. We've no leaders in the team. We've no organisers in the team. He says that Butland and Suter are his organisers. No, they're no. He thought that the Aarons and Rothwell were their best games of the season last night. What is he watching?
I agree with that, mate. I did think they had their best game of the season, but that's no a compliment.
I get you, but I'm like, oh wow, if that's the standard, and then it's all buzzwords after that, Oxman, you kind of roll your eyes at some, mate, didn't you? And you're like, what are you talking about? And that the crowd caused a lot of the anxiety and them to make mistakes. And no, it's called game management and taking responsibility for your position in the team and try to inspire everyone. We have not had any leaders in that team for God knows how long. And I hate to say it, but see, when we get rid of Connor Golson and Lundstrom, and there was a lot of criticism of the players, our team has died in front of us. There's nothing there now.
Yeah, and I don't think Suter's a captain, mate. And also we're playing him at the left side of the defence where he becomes 10% a worse player, mate. He's a third choice at best, mate, and we're trying to build our defence through him out of position. It doesn't add up. And that's where Farewell's going to get his job. We're going to get players out and players in quicker. Farewell, Williamson, start doing your job and getting the things sorted for the manager. Anyway, we're being joined by Jimbo. How are we doing, Jimbo?
Not bad, yourself?
Evening.
Evening.
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Right, mate. The floor's yours, mate. AK's shouted evening. The floor's yours, Jimbo.
Okay. Can I talk about the obvious? Russell Martin. For me, he should have never been given the job. And he's not Rangers quality. He's no manager. He's just whatever he is. He's not Rangers quality, and he's just going to make all our players go worse and just get worse and worse and worse, and just continue to disappoint the fan. That's the only way I can describe his football, is just disappointing and useless. And we need to cut our losses and just sack him off and pay him off. It's wrong, but I don't trust the people in charge of Rangers to get anyone better, because it's just one manager after the other, and they're getting worse and worse as the time goes on. And these players have played a few games in English leagues, and they haven't got anything required for the Scottish leagues. And I think that Rangers, just like they did yesterday, have taken their eye off the ball and just signing a load of garbage. And it's just a continuation of the last 4 years. Same thing, no difference. Do you feel it's time to go? And if you do feel he's right to stay and we should give him a chance, why do you think he should stay? Because I can't think of a single reason.
AK.
I knew you were going to do that. Evening, Jimbo. Listen, it's hard to make a case for Russell Martin, to be honest with you. We've been through so much, and we've been through so many managers. If we do sack him again, in the decade that we've had, I believe that would be 10 managers we've had in a decade and 8 permanent with 2 interim managers, Barry Ferguson and Murty. That's mere managers, or no, in fact, up until 2011, for the year we get established, I think we had only 11 managers. Ox would tell me better. So that's nearly the entirety of over 100 years we've went through in a decade. We're no picking the right manager. We're no recruitment is awful. Is awful, and we keep going running this decade of doom. It's a cycle of doom, and it's costing us fortunes because we're bringing in all these players, their own high wages. We're not getting rid of anybody, and then we're having to pay a severance package. I mean, I read tonight, I don't know if it's true, Ox, but if we sack Russell Martin right now, £7.5 million it costs the club.
Wouldn't surprise me, mate, but we're already 600,000 in that doom. Yeah.
Aye.
Because of
the
lack of interest. Do you think there was a lot of people banging the door where they're buying strips this afternoon? Yeah.
No. Aye, I know.
Yeah, because when the mood goes, that's what happens, mate. That's where you affect the brand. And I'll give you my answer to Jimbo AK, yeah?
Yeah, carry on.
I think we'll go ourselves in a situation.
Andy, I'm on the radio, so I'm on the Rangers radio talking.
Oh, Jimbo's talking. Put yourself on mute, Jimbo.
Aye. Put yourself on mute, Jimbo, if you don't mind. You're not speaking. Cheers.
Sorry?
Put yourself on mute. We don't want to hear your domestics.
Oh, sorry. It's a normal day here. Sorry.
Put your phone on mute when you're not talking. I'll give you my answer, Jimbo. I think quite quickly we'll go ourselves in a situation where we're talking about sticking or twisting, which is actually mental when you think about it. But Crystal Palace done it a few years ago with De Boer. With a bigger pedigree in the game than Russell Martin. Made a call, it's not going to work, bang, gone, you move on, yeah. And this maybe severance pay, every week they affect it, we might be costing ourselves more money. I just think this quite quickly is going to end the one way. And it saddens me to say it, mate. I didn't want to say it. But what we've watched in 10 games, 8 competitive games and 2 friendlies has been atrocious, mate. Atrocious.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, when you go, mate.
Okay. I think it's time for Rangers fans to be counted, and the only way the Rangers fans can be counted and have their opinions like once and for all taken seriously is to just boycott the games and
no, I'm not for that.
make the even if it's just for a few games or for a month. You need to vote with your feet and literally stop going to the games. Like them fans that walked out, if the whole stadium literally walked out, then they'd finally see something. But they're not treating us seriously. And I know they're going to say it's the start of this process, but how many more years can we wait? We can't all live forever. Do you know what I mean? Some of us are getting on in age.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be somebody to advocate that personally. Others might, but I wouldn't. You don't hurt the one you love, but however. I don't think this is going to end, and I think people will do that because people have got a choice where they go or not. AK.
Yeah, but how about
walk
out on the 70th minute mark, for example, if everyone just walked out? Obviously, that would show them that we're not happy because they're not going to sack him anytime soon because they don't want to be proven wrong again. But I made a video on my channel saying I didn't want it.
The people in charge now, mate, of the club are different personnel for the people that made all these previous decisions. AK, in you come, mate.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Jimbo, I'm not in favour of boycotts. I never have been. I didn't boo last night either. I'm not in favour of that either. I know everybody's entitled to express their emotions at the time, but I think where Roxy's coming for, the new owners don't have an emotional attachment to the club. You know, they're making business decisions. They're making kind of cold decisions, so to speak. I would just love to know if they had any input in the managerial selection at all, and whether they're getting a roasting with Thelwell and Patrick Stewart now for selecting him. But as I say, what was the options? Barry, keep Barry on, Ancelotti Jr., Russell Martin and Gerrard that wasn't even in the running. Derek McInnes had went to Hearts. He was another one that got spoke about. I don't think that was on the table either. So we didn't have many options in the first place, but I don't know how soon they'll pull the trigger, or they're going to stick it out and ride it. But we're up there. When you see that next 5 games coming up, Jimbo Knox, St Mirren away, Bruges away, Celtic at home, then it's an international break, and then we've got Hearts at Ibrox and Hibs in the Cup. That is some 5 games, and see the way we're playing now. Can you see us winning any of the games? No, the way we're playing.
No, I don't think we're going to win any game anytime soon, because the guy's a loser. Think about it logically, right? Not good enough for Southampton, but good enough for Rangers. How does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a valid argument, Jimbo. I'm not going to argue with that, mate. You know, I'm not going to argue with that did he have the pedigree to get your job? Had he had enough experience? Had he done a big enough club? Did he know Scottish football? And it looks as if when I watch him now, unfortunately, whether I like it or not, he was a terrible centre-half for us at the end of his career. And he's, I'll say in the middle of his managerial career, and it's not looking good, mate. It's not looking good. And I think it's only going to end the one way, because it's going to become a real toxic appointment. But I hope we can turn it around, and I hope we're all sitting there and say, wow, he turned that around. But at this moment in time, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. AK.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
think I don't think the American owners are. I don't think the American owners are having any input into the club, because it's the same decisions getting made year on year, same kind of players, the same kind of markets we're going out. I think they just invested the money and let us get on with it. But with the decision makers of the club, can't make a correct decision, and that's where the problem lies.
It's a completely new group of people that's running your club at this time last year. Alec?
As I say, I mean, they don't have any emotional attachment to the club. They don't live in the city. As I say, I would be interested to know where Marat was actually at the game last night, because he was at the Leeds game on Monday night there, because he's their chairman. But he'll still have his eye on what's happening there with Kavanagh as well. But Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell will be getting their buzz roasted now if they're not happy about what's going on. And obviously they can't be happy about what they're hearing, what they're seeing. The attendances is going down, the disgruntlement and the support already at this stage of the season. It's unheard of. I mean, Clement was 18 months into his tenure before the support turned against him. Beale was the same, weren't happy with him, but at least we started well. He just came in there and nobody kind of wanted him, so I kind of feel sorry a wee bit for him that way. But when you're coming into a club and you aren't a popular choice in the first place, you're working under all these no constraints, because he's had his choice of players, he's been given money to buy, but when you've got all this kind of, you know, we've no won a lot, the place has been a mess, it's not been organised properly, there's still a lot of players on the books there that we should be getting rid of, but we're no. It's negative after negative, and it's hard to see any positives. And all of that frustration and anger's all filtering out onto the park, and the players don't have the character to deal with that. And I don't think he has the character to deal with that as well, because it's. I mean, how does he get his jobs in the first place, Ox and Jimbo? I mean, he starts at MK Dons. He only lasted 2 years there, then went to Swansea. 2 years there, went to Southampton. 2 years there, you know. So he's no staying around a long period of time in the club either.
He went up the leagues, didn't he? He went from MK Dons to Swansea, went up the leagues, and then went to a bigger club. Yeah, so there was progression. He got Southampton up until that minute. His career had been relatively successful, but it's the stubbornness of this style of play that was his undoing in the Premiership. But they had the worst record ever, and it's the same thing that's happened again. And he did say in one of his early interviews that he'd learned from it and he had to be more flexible. We're not seeing that. We're just seeing a bomb scare. Jimbo?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Good to speak to you. Take it easy, yeah?
All right. Russell Martin out.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Jim.
Okay, at this moment in time, mate, it's difficult to find the... it's difficult to put up an argument. It really is, mate. How long do you wait? When do you go? When do you make it?
Well, when you see the 5 games coming up, Ox, and you're the support is already saying the best we could. Well, St Mirren gave us problems last year. Beating us home and away. They're well organised. I believe Robinson was at the match last night as well. So they'll give us problems, and they'll see how fragile we are in defence and in midfield, and as a club, as a team, and they will stick us, right in the mixer and look to ruffle us up, because they know a lot of the players that we've got, they don't have the character to wear our jersey, and that's where the recruitment has to be questioned as well.
There was 6 new players on that park last night, yeah?
Yep.
6 new players on the park last night, and the only one that got a pass with the piece, mate, was a young fullback who made his debut, who's been waste for about 2 seconds, mate.
And Gassama.
And Gassama, yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, Gassama was man of the match for us, I thought, yeah.
Aye. I'd agree with that. We just looked
I agreed with the manager, but here's something that I'll say. I did agree with the manager in his interview last night, yeah? Here's what I agree. I did agree that Rothwell and Aarons had their best game for the club. Yeah, I did agree with that. But that's not a high bar, mate.
No. But when the Bruce managers come out, and we've already played them in the pre-season game, and he subs most his team at half time after they went 2-0 up. They know where to hurt us. They know that the tactics weren't going to change. The personnel might have changed a wee bit for when we played them, but they knew. I mean, there was a point, if you can remember, Ox, it sticks in my mind. I think it was round about 30, 40 minutes. Suter was allowed to walk the ball up to the halfway line and step into their half. It looked like a fly just crawling onto a spider's net for me, because the set traps, he'd 10 yards in front of him and there were 3 players ready to pounce, and the crowd's on his back. Pass the ball. And you see him put his arms outstretched. There's no movement up front for anybody to get to. So that they were setting traps all over the place, because they knew as soon as they win the ball, it's a long ball in behind us, and it is so easy to run in and goal then. And Andy Halliday picked apart his tactics, and he was getting dog's abuse for doing the same. But if they can all see that, why we no changing it then? You come to an era, Ox, where defenders defend, the midfield create, get to the forwards, everything, the fundamentals are all there, and we threw that all out the window, and it's just all about attack and forget about the back line. But you need to be able to defend properly to have any chance of success, and we're not.
If it's all about attack, mate, why are we not making any chances?
I know. Because we're too busy passing it in the midfield, and we're not breaking the lines. Nobody is willing to take responsibility to break the lines. I thought that was the reason why he's bringing in Asgard and Moore, and they weren't getting on the ball. Ant-Man, after his first game against Pilsen, everybody thought, wow, what a player this is. We've hardly seen him since. He's knowed the ball, and he's certainly knowed the relationship with the Gassama and the young boy had last night either. I don't know whether they're all petrified or not.
If you're honest, mate, he's been poor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you're being really honest, mate.
So we're not playing to any of the players' strengths. So what are we doing? What is the structure? What is the fundamentals that we're trying to do? Break lines? Because we're not doing that. We're not getting shots at the keeper. We're not working the keeper enough. We're certainly not getting shots on target. 15 shots at goal, only one on target. That's we're out of depth. He looks out his depth and he looks like one of the managers that everything he's good at. Would you take a business kind of conference? He's good with green figures and
PowerPoint,
you know
PowerPoint, death.
Aye. Yeah, I heard the guy Derek on Go Radio a night calling him a car salesman. That's how I said Bale's a car salesman and Warburton's a car salesman. Now we've got another one. We're not learning and we're just draining money out the club. I'll tell you another thing as well, Ox. I don't know whether you agree. I was in seeing my dad the day. Why we not get Rangers men there and coaches already in there in that dressing room, just in case you get a bad scenario where the manager doesn't click, at least they're there already and you don't need to be paying severance packages to all them because they don't want to go anywhere. They want to work for the club. They want the club to be better. Instead of that, we're bringing in half a dozen people. They all move on. They don't like the players that the previous manager is, and it's just costing us tens and tens of million all the time.
Rinse and repeat, mate. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I just want somebody that's going to be successful. You know, and if you get a blend, it can be right. Obviously, Gary McAllister never played for us, understood us, brought up with leanings towards your club, but, you know, been away from Scotland for a long time. You know, there was nobody else in Gerrard's camp, but I think they all understood it because they all came from, if you like, the UK backgrounds. Martin's brought in guys, and we've not really heard from any of them, bar Martin, you know, and he interviews well, and he says some decent things. It's full of cliches, and he says things that you're right. Every club, you have to win at every club. That's right. Every supporter, every club wants a team to do well. I understand that. But if he thinks that we're kidded on, we'll get better, we'll learn from it, and then we're watching it in front of our eyes, you know. You know, we gave a goal against the set piece because we can't line our defensive shapes all right. We gave a goal against Alloa because our defensive shapes all right. We lost a goal against Bruges, different standards of opposition, because our defensive shapes all right for set pieces, mate. And it's happened that's 3 games, mate, at Ibrox. The last 3 games at Ibrox, is that right? Aye, it is. Yeah, the last 3 games at Ibrox. Dundee, Alloa and Bruges, mate, we've lost set-piece goals, mate. And if he thinks that we can be kidded, that they're doing their job right, and the set-up's right, and the coaching's right, he's in cuckoo land, mate. And I'm going to deal my time with my mask. I would learn for Crystal Palace with the Boer. Yeah. Don't wish to get any at him. I don't think he's a bad fella, but it's just not going to work, mate.
So who's the answer then, Ox?
I've not got an answer. That's the problem, mate.
I think that's part of the problem as well. When you see the level of coach that we're interviewing, why they don't want to come to our club. You know, we offer them a European platform. We're offering them, you know, a chance to win trophies. 50,000 crowd. We've got a reasonable budget, but there's a lot of. See, when you see all the negatives, you look underneath the kind of the rug. What's under there, and then you see, you know, what's happened before the budget restrictions, the FFP, players that are hanging about, your wages. You've got to decrease that. Clement had all of them as well. Decrease the age of the squad. And it's just that then you've got a demanding support. You must win, and you must play a good style of football as well. So that there's a lot of there that the managers. I mean, Gerrard and Gio, you know, that they were good managers, a good standing in the game, good pedigree as well. We didn't support them the way they should have, and it's every manager after that hasn't been the greatest. To put it mildly. I mean,
But there were
Clement
circumstances there. You've got to remember, because of COVID, we announced a £23 million loss when we lost the league, and we never sold any players, mate. I just read a stat that Liverpool have brought in 200 million in sales this summer. Yeah. People are saying they've spent a fortune, but they brought in 200 million in sales. Yeah. So you've got to keep that was maybe a mistake. Maybe madly we backed Gerrard too much when we let him. We should have punted players and got and refreshed and kept going, because we kept on the Alfie and Kent, and it turned out to be a disaster for us. Disaster, didn't it?
Aye. No, you're right. And the wages that we were paying them, plus we lost it potentially about £30 million, and recycling it back into a team. But we got some money, very good money for Bassey and Patterson, Aribo, Sakala, but we didn't recycle that well enough back into the team, because we've got to also
remember we just announced, because of COVID, we announced £23 million of losses.
No, I know. Aye. Which a lot of the old board, covered.
Aye.
As well.
The circumstances conspired against us, and obviously, I think the big moment for us was when Gerrard left the club, mate. I think, if I'm really honest, mate, that was a big moment for us, yeah. Gio was a real good choice, I think, and ultimately, he gave us a week in the sun that was unbelievable, yeah. But however, it just didn't work out, and I wonder, in hindsight, we should maybe just give him a bit more time, mate, maybe, and see what he could have done maybe the following season if he get rid of some of the players and got new ones in, But it's all right. It's all if, buts and maybes. We're in the here and now, mate, and I just can't see this ending in any other way. But so I would do it quicker rather than later, mate.
It's who you bring in at this stage.
That's the question, mate. It's who's available, who wants a job and all that. Yeah.
Aye. I know.
And I don't know, mate. But that's a different question, mate. And that question only becomes real when you do the first question.
Exactly. The only way Russell Martin is get any chance of riding this storm out is by proving that he's adaptable. And so far in his short managerial career, he's been pretty vociferous to say, no, I believe in my style, my philosophy, and I'm no changing. And it's cost him jobs. So if he's that stubborn, if he's that arrogant, to have that mindset, I'm afraid he's hanging himself for the chop.
Listen, mate, if we were playing against Bruges last night and we did 15 efforts at goal and their goalie was man of the match and we got a goal chopped off and they broke away and scored 3 goals, you say, well, we were mugged or we played well. Yeah. If we'd battered Dundee and had shots and hit the bar and the post and the goals kicked off the line, and it's the Alamo and they're kicking off the line and they got up the park and the guy gets sent off because he trips him, and then there's one free kick and they score a goal for it. And we rally and we get a goal, and we could have, if Dessers wasn't so lazy and we'd be stoning onside, we'd have got a winner. We get a penalty and get it back. He'd have said, oh, well, you can see we're playing well, it's just no fun for us. But that's not the case, AK. That's not the case. We're hardly having a shot at goal. And he's telling us we're meant to be playing expansive attacking football. But one shot in the second half, not one. That was my first effort in target, the goal, mate.
Aye.
It's whether, obviously, Rodwell's free kick wasn't in target, but it was a decent effort, wasn't it?
At the post, first half. Aye. Aye, it's no good enough, pal. It isn't. And you can't kid on the Rangers support as you said. We've been through a lot, and honestly, I just felt empty last night coming out of Ibrox because you don't see a chink of light.
Your pockets, weren't they, with that freebie?
Right.
Get yourself in mute. We're going to have a tune.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from. And that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing. And we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Valley scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That was a good one for Albert then, Oxley, if he was listening.
He likes that one, mate. He likes that one. Maybe they should sit them down and let them listen to that in the changing rooms, mate, yeah?
Oh, aye.
What people think and what they feel and what they think, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
They'll never understand, mate. You know, it's all football club supporters are passionate for their club. Yeah, but they don't understand it's a way of life. It's not just a football club. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Our very own Southside did a chat last week. He disclosed there, didn't he? And he said Russell Martin was very presentable. He listened. Is
He's
very
he's
approachable.
nice. He comes across as a nice guy, mate.
Mm-hmm.
I love myself.
He was, aye. He was willing to relay the kind of message into the dressing room, but you just wonder. Most of these guys have no association. I mean, even the young lad that came and he's just giving you buzzwords. I know the history of the club. I know the stature of the club. But no, you don't, son. You're just here to earn a living, and because you know the manager, and that's how far we've fallen as a club. I'm afraid.
Aye, but I mean, when Laudrup came into the club, mate, we paid this. He came to our club because we paid him good money, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know.
And Gascoigne.
Aye,
Mm-hmm.
we paid him. He came because we paid him top dollar. You
And
know,
all the English players in the Soonest Revolution.
aye, they came.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and listen, it just as if you're a good player, you've got that attitude, you've got that commitment. I mean, we're watching last night, and we'll go through the players now, mate. But it's worried me with Butland because he has been our best player, mate. But he's still looking goals, mate. He's part of that defence. He's part of meant to be the leadership group, and he's not chasing any of them out. Yeah, they're obviously playing the instructions. He's not that. He's causing goals to be lost because he's not shooting them out the way. I played with goalkeepers with the like, don't get in the 6-yard box. That comes in here, that's mine. So one in the post, one in the post, and the rest he's pick up men, and you get out there and mark him at the edge of the box. Don't see any of that. Right?
It's a simple game.
He's been my best player so far this season. So he's, but last night he helped. Wasn't he totally, but he was involved in the shenanigans at the start. After that, he'd not a bad game, if you're honest, yeah. I mean, the second goal, you could put that down as an own goal. If you watch it back again, Suter can't move his feet, mate. He had a chance to kick it and miskicked it. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so I'll go to Suter next. John, look, he's out of contract.
Can I say something now, Oxford, before you go in? Just while it's in my head, listening back to Billy Dodds, I don't know if anybody heard it, but he said something that kind of was a wee bit poignant. Obviously, they're in the changing room last year with Barry and that. He says, you know, there's something that struck me. As soon as we come in after half-time or after a game or something, the dressing room was so quiet. He says, seeing the dressing rooms that I was in, the good teams that I was in, they self-managed. See all the senior players, they all dug out each other, and that's what the manager wanted. Walter, he didn't operate under Walter, but I've heard the people with Walter, with Haitley and Goff and that. He says he would just let them go at it. As soon as he would let them go at it, they sort out their issues themselves, and then he would get the tactics board up and then make decisions. He says,
the game's changed, mate.
Oh, I know, but he was saying about basically the lack of leadership in that dressing room was alarming. It was so quiet.
Aye. So
and
then
if they're like that in the dressing room, what are they like on the park?
Aye. So then we go to the fullbacks. We've had two leaving the club. We brought in a boy who I don't think's any better than Tav, even though I think Tav's done. Yeah, Aaron's. That's my opinion. Yeah, and what I'm watching. Yeah, he's been involved in a lot of games for us, mate, and I don't think he's a natural defender. He had one run last night and he just one pass up the wing to Ant-Man. Him, Diamandi and Ant-Man isn't working, mate. But he's been poor. The young boy, 10 out of 10 attitude last night. Endeavour, he made a couple of tackles. He showed some pace. Yeah, fair play to him. So we'll see where that goes. The midfield, Raskin and Diamandi, guys that we've thought decent players last season, shown promise with. Diamandi has been absolutely appalling this season. Non-existent, game after game after game, and had done nothing to justify us starting that team last night. Nothing. Raskin has been average at best. Rothwell's been a big disappointment. I agree that he had his best game for the club last night, mate. But that's all I'm saying. He did his best game for the club last night. His best game. I thought he put in a bit of effort last night. But we were told we were getting a number 6 who'd make things happen. Yeah, he's corner kicks. Yeah. I know Tav came on and took one. It was a dreadful. Yeah, but his corner kicks, it's like catching practice for the goalkeepers, mate. Catching practice.
Aye.
And then,
Too close in, isn't it?
aye, and if that's the instruction for Mark Williamson, mate, that's other problems. Then we go to the forwards. Ant-Man started off really well. That's 3 games he's been non-existent, mate. 3 games. Now, I think it's because of what's happened with Diamandi and Aarons are getting that close to him. They kill all the space. They kill all the space, mate. They're playing instruction. Gasserman, who plays off the cuff, mate, dribbling, beat me and make things happen. We're only success this season. And Danilo, mate, no way is he the answer, mate. No way is he the answer. And then, and that's the 11 that started last night, I think. I think I've covered everybody. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my honest take on it, mate.
Would they be right in saying Danilo's goal last night is the first goal that the strikers have scored this year?
Desters has scored, didn't he? Scored a penalty, didn't he?
So he did. Aye.
But that's it, mate. Mate, if we're honest about it, mate, if you take away the 5 goals that we scored in the 2 European ties at Ibrox, yeah? Well, Harley scored the goal. Apart from Arlo, mate. Harley scored the goal.
I know.
2 goals against Dundee, 1 goal against Dundee, Motherwell and Bruges last night. That's 3 goals, yeah?
So what is the benefit of this system then, apart from possession? I don't see any benefit. We're not having enough shots at goals. We're not working the keeper. We're not breaking the lines. What is the benefit of this system? And we're causing our own... We're shooting ourselves in the foot with the high line that we're playing. So what is the benefit of this system? Make it simple.
Do you remember
see we're suitors on the ball.
Remember Mastermind when you didn't know the answer?
Pass.
Exactly.
Clever, mate. Clever.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why, mate. And look, none of the goals were caused last night with us messing about at the back, were they? None of them. None of them were caused by the possession with the goalkeeper to the centre halves and knocking it about. None of them. The first goal was a long ball that should have been dealt with. The second was a horrendous setup for a corner kick. Yeah? And the third goal with a chance to clear it, Roffo miscleared it and it went to Danilo and he get brushed off it. So none of the goals last night were caused with the possession-based football, if you like. The goal against the Divilos was because of a cross ball, right?
The high line.
We were set up right. The goal against Motherwell was because Tavernier and Doyle were so lazy to let the guy run away and it was nothing to do with the possession football. Yeah? Yeah? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
anyway, I've been joined by old Davy. Evening, David.
I wish it was a good evening. How you doing, guys? Good to hear you. See you too, Big Alec.
Evening, David.
You're spot on there, weren't you? I mean, try to solve a riddle when there's no way you can solve it. That's what's worrying about. To me, it's getting to a point now. It's getting scary because, as you were explaining, the games that are coming up, and if that goes belly up, I still believe what Alec was saying just so what they'll do is they'll just bite the bullet with him. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know, because everybody's just, I think, has had enough. But at this point, after so many games, is it going to benefit the club? And that chap that was talking about, I can't remember what his name was, he was talking about boycotting. That's not definitely not the answer. You mean if you're at a game and you're watching that rubbish, even when you're getting hammed so many, you don't walk out. You don't walk out. It's hard to, I know it's easy to say, but you've got to go in and bear it. And they could have a wee bit of luck once they get the one back and unlucky with the one that the keeper said he had his horns on. That could change the game. But the way I watched the reaction of the players when the second goal went in,
and every head was doing and looking into the run, and there was nobody there to jeer him up. I mean, how can you get somebody to jeer him up? You've got your club captain on a subs bench, and you've got a centre half who's not playing well, and he's not a captain either. So that's a recipe for it's not going to work.
Davey, can I ask you something, mate?
No.
All right. All right, mate. Thanks for the call, mate. Be in touch. No, because
You fire in, son. You fire away. Fire away.
You came on a few weeks ago and you said, and I get your rationale that it was too early to judge and or maybe being a bit negative, and maybe you were right, mate. What's your thoughts now?
Oh, totally different. It's just went the. It's hard to. Big time. I don't understand it, but what I will say is there's not a manager on the planet can be responsible for that first goal. Then you could talk about formation, tactics and all that. That went right out the window between that mess that they created. So you can't, but the set up for the second goal, man kind of garbage, Danilo just on and watching, or whoever it was. And they were, when you look at it was the ball, it was, the big goal could maybe have hit Suter's legs and it deflected. But it shouldn't have, it was gone ping pong. And they just don't look capable of trying to defend right. And that's I think what's getting into people's heads. It's worrying. I mean, how are you going to fix it?
AK.
The $1 million question, David. How are we going to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
We're spending money, but we're not spending it good, wisely again. I mean, I'm expecting him to bring in. I don't mind him going back to the English leagues, by the way, and going for players that he knows, but they need to have a bit about them to fill that jersey. You know, I'm expecting Rothwell to be that midfield general, to say that's my number 6 and that's the guy I'm relying on. He's pushing a Belgian international out the way for good reason, because we see Raskin as merely a threat up the park, which is fine because he did contribute more in the goal terms with Barry last year when he pushed him forward. They gave him free licence, and I think Raskin enjoyed that role. But it doesn't come natural to Raskin to play that role. And he's done that with Diamondi. He's done that with Aarons, with playing them left back. He's playing Suter as a left-sided defender. He's doing it with too many of them, trying to put square pegs in round holes. And I think that contributes to how ineffective we look as a team, which doesn't help. And then we're throwing a lot of young boys in there. The crowd they're expecting. They're putting more pressure on them. They're losing silly goals. The pressure is coming for the stands end because we're an unforgiving crowd. We know that. But because we're used to winning, we're putting a lot of pressure on them and they're not dealing with it because they don't have the character to wear our jersey. And it comes back to the same old adage, why are we dropping the likes of young Cameron then when he was a guy that was willing to fill the jersey and play well? And, you know, why we discarding the Scottish market when we could have been bringing in others who are thriving with other teams. Southside spoke about the boy for Dundee, Mulligan, that's playing really well with Hibs. We've had others. We've had Barron. I don't think Barron's good enough, but at least he'll give you a bit of endeavour. But we need to get back to basics and change. He needs to change. He needs to prove he's willing to change to have any chance of survival. And if he's not doing that, then I'm sorry, he's walking the plank himself. He's doing it himself. So our defenders need to drop back another 10 yards, say, and feed the ball through to your midfielders and let them do what they're good at. You know, give them the responsibility to play, and instead of giving them, filling their head with instructions, because they look lost on the park. They don't know who they're meant to be picking up at set pieces. They don't know how far they're meant to be dropping deep. They don't know how far they're meant to be pushing into the next half. And I seen last night, Bruges were setting traps all over the place because they knew as soon as they win the ball, they've got a whole area of the park to fire a ball into, and then it's up to who's fastest enough to catch it. And a lot of theirs was far better than ours.
David?
I definitely got a good. Yeah, made good points there, like, definitely. And one of the things that was concerning me was when you hear him after the game trying to explain it all. And there was one of the interviews, I don't know, it wasn't last night, he never said it last night, but he was questioned on, the sort of, what's his job, how does he think his job's going to go? And he said, just, you give me to May. And I'm saying, I don't think that's going to happen the way this is setting it, the way this is working its way out, but I think he just, I don't know, he gets a bit, confuses himself. But I mean, you can't legislate for the goals that they lost. Maybe this third one, second one, that was very lackadaisical. But I don't think the fans will tolerate it for much longer, especially the amount of games that's coming. And I'll tell you one thing, as far as I'm concerned, we're all on about Bruges this and Bruges that. They are a well-organised team. And we're the opposite of that. And we made them a look. This is one of my opinion. We made them look a lot better than what they were.
We don't look a good coach team, mate. We look disjointed. We look void the ideas. We give up too many space. We don't look well coached. When the first time we played Bruges, we were all right with that first game. That's now 10 games ago, and we're actually more disjointed, if we're honest, mate. Yeah.
I agree.
And pretty much, you take Danilo out of that team last night and put Dessers in. That's his first 11 at the moment, yeah? Would you think so?
Aye, probably.
Would Asgard maybe playing on the left, yeah? And then Diamandi, who played on the left, has now appeared on the right. And there's another player that's just went absolutely missing, mate. Is he more comfortable on that side of the park? I'm making excuses for him. I don't think he should be in the team at the moment, but is that another square peg in the round hole?
For me, it is, aye. He's they just no comfortable with their playing. I mean, Diamandi's predominantly left-footed and he's got him playing on the right. So the middle of the park is getting congested and there's nowhere for them to go. You picked it out with Ant-Man, where Aarons was killing his space and Diamandi's killing his space. So he's now opted to go on the outside, the fullback, and they push a couple of crosses there and they kill that space. So we're just so easy to defend against and we're so easy to pick off in attack as well. And it just looks awful. It really does. For that level of football. And getting back to Davy's point, Bruges are a shrewd team, Davy. That's, if they get by us, which it very much looks like it will, that's the 9th time in 10 years where they've been part of Champions League. So they've invested wisely into their team and they've also sold well. I think they've sold 2 players there that are approximately about £80 million that they're going to recycle back into their team. And that's the way that we are trying to do, but we're just starting. This is the first foot on the ladder. We get told that's what Ross Wilson was meant to do with the player trading model and Gio and Gerrard and every manager after that. But we don't seem to be getting that point because we're not playing well, we're not winning. The crowd are becoming impatient, and then we sack a manager, and then we start over again. And it's God knows how much money we've drained out of that club, Ox, with doing this, but we're not getting any further forward because we keep picking the wrong manager.
I think there's about £200,000 in wages at this moment in time. Every month, mate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Name the players.
Well, you've got Matondo, you've got Davis, you've got the boy,
Cifuentes.
Cifuentes, yeah, we're still paying Yefty, we're still paying Ridvan at this time. You can throw Cortez into that as well, yeah. Add it all up, mate, and then
4.3
you've got
million.
Leon King, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, guys like that.
Liam Kelly as well.
Well, no, he's part of the
Yeah.
squad, isn't he? Yeah, I'm talking about guys that are no going to feature.
Oh,
yeah,
no feature at all.
Aye. Yeah. You quite quickly get to £200,000 a week, mate.
It's awful. It's awful, mate. I mean, you've got that plug, that hole that's draining all the finances. I mean, how do you refresh? How do you afford to get a better standard
There's
of player back into the
injured,
team?
well, Matondo says he's injured, but well, I don't know about that. He might have fell over his due hair at the barbers, you know. But, you add all it up. It's frightening, Davey, isn't it? Frightening.
Aye, well, that's what I'm saying. It's getting scary. I mean, at the beginning, when we heard about the takeover and all that, we're saying, "Oh, great, we've got a lot of help here," and then it's like somebody telling you, "By the way, your ticket's no valid." so it's a big problem. Hopefully, we can get it resolved.
The only mistake they've made is the fact is obviously that it looks as if they've brought in the manager, mate. You know, they've supported and they're still paying the wages and they're trying to get rid of people. Maybe the good thing is they're standing taller or standing firmer to get better deals for the club. But we would like people to move, mate, so we can bring more in. Yeah, I mean, there's nearly a team there, AK, yeah?
Listen, you're nailing the head, mate. We spoke about it. And all the finances are draining the club. I mean, I didn't think, to be honest with you, that we would be bringing in the 10 players that he's brought in. All right, 2 of them were already agreed with Cameron and Cortez, so he's got 8 of his own players in there, which is a fair amount, but we need to offload because I don't know how much the squad wage bill is now, but we must be up near the limit of that, and we need to get that done. It's not just the wages as well, it's the bodies. You can't be working with a squad of 40 players. You know, it's impossible to keep them all happy, and you've got players just happy to take a wage and no contribute nothing. And this seems to be modern football. You look at Alexander Isak with Newcastle, just said, "Nah, down tools until I get my move." This is what the player power gives you now. They can dictate what they're doing, when they're playing, who their manager is, and where they're going. And it's killing a lot of clubs financially.
Well, it's killing again for the supporters as well. You know, he would want, if Newcastle wanted rid of him, he would want his contract. You know, he's got a contract. The contract should work both ways, mate. Yeah.
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 But where do we stand with Raskin situation now, Oxton? If it is true, and I'm not saying that is because the manager dispelled it, that he's knocked his door, and if he's not getting his proper position, if he's unhappy in the team, he wants a move, he's not signing his contract, do we sell and then risk the wrath of the support? Or do we recycle that money back into the team?
I don't think you risk your wrath of support, mate. You better risk the wrath of support at the end of last season when for New Year at the end of the season, Raskin was outstanding, mate, and nearly single-handedly dragged us to the deep into a European competition. Yeah, you know. What was that? Was it the quarterfinals we played Bilbao? Was it?
It was, yes, it was.
Aye. So we played Bilbao in the quarterfinals, mate. And I mean, if you think about it, you know, Proper played at the left side of defence that game and got sent off. I think that could have been different if that didn't happen. You don't know. But Raskin was outstanding. He's not kicked a ball this season, mate. He can't pass. It's back to where he was, mate. He can't pass it. Every pass he makes, every pass he tries to make, it's not coming off. He's not playing well. Now, whether that's just the whole circumstance, he's trying too hard, or just, he's still winning the ball and doing some decent stuff, but he's not passing the ball as well as he was last season. And it was something he always struggled with, his distribution, but everybody's got a price, mate. If it's decent money, he goes. Why? Well, he's in a year's time, mate, he's a depleting asset, and you've got to be sensible. The same for Dessers. The Dessers is older. They go, mate, and you've got to be ruthless. No room for sentiment. And that's what they've got a job to do, to bring in people to replace them. Yeah? No, go, mate. If the offer's right, it's right for the club, go. Davey?
Aye, you're spot on. I think one of the things that's not helping us now, it was a big gamble bringing him in, as far as I'm concerned. And more that he came in at the wrong time and tried to change everything right away. And that's not going to happen, no matter how good a manager is. That's how I was giving him a wee bit of benefit of the doubt when gave him a chance to see what. But when you see the way his formation is, and you're talking about Raskin's no played the Monday, it's shocking. You know, that I don't think they're playing where they should be playing. And I don't think he knows where he wants to play them, because they cannot play to that system. Not in that short time. If he'd have come in a bit earlier and we'd got more of the new players in, they'd have maybe got to know each other. But my points gets blown out the window here. That young boy came here on Sunday, I think he came, and he played last night, and he was one of the best players there. So, I mean, the theory of you're waiting too long, it just shows you that he just fitted into that. We needed a left back, we all know that. But it was a worrying. But I fancy that boy to go on and be good things. But it looks like a pure car crash at the moment, and it's worrying, very worrying.
Aye, it's rumoured that Cifuentes is broken out. Rumours, just pure rumours. I mean, I'm no one for spreading rumours, as you well know, AK. Just for the record, AK did pay for his ticket last night. You know, I was pulling his leg. Yeah, but and I did have a text his face, Scott. But it's rumoured that Cifuentes is going to Toronto on loan with an option to buy next summer. But you're not going to get everything you want. But if you get him off the wage bill and you've got an option that they're going to buy him, mate, at least you might be saving, I don't know, £750,000, mate. Yeah, just in wages. Yeah.
Aye, would depend on the deal. But if he's out the building, then that's fine. But obviously, if he's just a loan, then we might be paying something towards that, as we were last year.
I'm saying you still might be saving £750,000. Yeah.
Aye,
you might
I get you.
Yeah, it might still cost you money, but you're saving. Yeah.
All
right. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, it's rumours. It's pure rumours, you know, and speculation of what's going to happen. There's going to be loads of rumours now. Loads. It's going to get mental again, isn't it?
I'll tell you another wee rumour, Ox, if you don't mind me, and David can get his opinion on this day. Purely a rumour, but Gerrard's meant to have been sounded out. I don't know if it's any truth in it whatsoever. Would you welcome him coming back?
I'll answer that.
David?
At this moment in time, I'd bite the horn off to get him back. And he should never have left anyway, because they wouldn't give him the money. If we were on a roll in getting that league, it wouldn't have ever happened, ever kicked off board-wise or whatever, finances. He never got what he needed. And since he left then, we just went backwards and backwards and backwards. So, no, if that was going to happen, and the way we are now, nah, I turn behind on that. But whether they could turn that team round, God knows.
I think the story about that rumour, AK, is that the 49ers might have looked at them when they first get involved in Leeds, and people are putting two and two together with the clickbait sites, mate. I think that's the rumour.
Possibly, aye, possibly. And I'm just putting it out there that it started to appear on certain sites and
I'd
stuff.
take,
But
the way it is just now, mate, I would take Gerard Butler.
We've got his in goals.
he said Butler, no Butland.
Oh, sorry. I know what he said, Ali. I know what he said.
I know.
They're off the Chipperfield Circus.
He would certainly lift the cloud, but I don't know. I don't know. Is there a manager out there? Because I've also seen go back and get Barry. Go back and ask for Derek McInnes. Would they be popular? Because what is popular with the Rangers support? Who do they want? And will they come and work under what they've got? Because you're going to be working with Russell Martin's players and players that don't want to be there, and it's not a good environment. And to get back to your left back here, I agree with you, Davey. I thought the young boy acquitted himself very well last night. Antman acquitted himself very well, and he quickly fell into the, the yellow cloud that's in our dressing room now. So I just hope it doesn't affect the performance of that young boy either.
Aye,
I felt we capitulated a bit. Sorry, Ox.
Who, the boy?
Sorry.
Who capitulated?
I think the whole team just after the second man went in just said, lost the heart for it, and that's not acceptable. And then when the third one went in, I mean, you could, it was like somebody turning up at a funeral. It was tragic.
The only two people.
Sorry.
The only two people that showed anything was two of the younger guys on the park, Castleman and young Jaden, mate.
Yeah,
let's be honest. The rest of them showed very little. And some of them have been. I mean, I'm not wanting to beat Diamandi up with a stick, but his performance, Danilo's performance, Ant-Man's performance, Rothwell, Raskin, the midfield's not made a goal. They've not made a pass for a goal all season. Don't think. Yeah, that goal last night came from the left back, putting the cross in. Gasserman's made a couple of his own goals. Finlay, all right, Dowell made a nice pass to against Alloa. The nice 1-2 again with Gasserman for against Pilsner. That was a nice goal when Gasserman scored his goal. The second goal that Gasserman scored was a ball for my mate Aaron's doing to Ant-Man. The midfield's not made a goal all season, mate. Maybe you might give Diamandi the one in Pilsner when he played it back. Danilo mishits it and Cameron puts it in. They've not contributed anything going forward, and they're not helping the defence because the system's all wrong, mate. And there's gaps all over that pitch. And I bet you sitting behind the goal, AK, you could see it. Yeah, I don't know how high up you were. But if you're a decent height, you can see the gaps, yeah?
I was doing pretty low, actually, right a hint the goal.
Right.
But it just looks as if people were hiding. It really did. And even marking at corner kicks. Danilo's on that front post, marking nobody. And I think, who was it just behind him? I think it was Raskin, actually standing next to him, marking nobody. And then I'm looking at him like, who's marking the three in the edge of the box? Because that's where the second goal came from, when it missed everybody in the flight and the guy hit it in himself. And they're no aware. They're completely unaware of the danger that's happening round about. And Derek Ferguson said they weren't doing the zonal marking and all that. It was just, that's your man, that's your responsibility. And the best header in the ball, Terry Butcher, he's the free man. You go and win that if it's in the danger area. And obviously you've got your goalkeeper there to punch it. But we've got no out balls. We're bringing Gassama and Antman back. They should be in the back line, and that would also put 3 or 4 of their players on the halfway line just in case we clear it. So we're bringing all the pressure onto yourself.
Aye, so that's
crazy
coaching, mate. That's decisions. That's decisions, mate. As I said, mate,
crazy.
you can kid some of the people some of the time, mate. You can't kid all the people all the time, mate. Yeah.
Yep. Right.
We know what we're watching, Davey. We know what we're watching. Huh?
I mean, that Rosswell, I can't get my head around what he's about. He just reminds me of what Lundstrom was doing. You know, he goes up, but he can't get back. And you can't have that in a midfielder. And it's just very, I don't know, I think we've bought some real poor buys anyway. Whether they turn out, it could hold them wrong, hold them totally miles away. But what we're looking at, it's no convincing me about anything really at all. I'm concerned about it, I really am.
Right. Aye, I get it, mate. We're all, once the angler maybe comes down, because I think we're still at that stage, we might have different emotions, you know, because everybody's angry at the moment, and I didn't see this coming as quick. Honestly, I didn't. I thought we would get a bounce, but we've had the dead cat bounce, haven't we?
Aye. Ox, this is the first manager in my life span, and you guys are a wee, well, Davey's older than me anyway, I don't know about you, Ox, but I've never known a manager to come in.
I'm older than the trees.
I've never known a manager to come in. I've never known a manager to come in under a cloud where he's basically unanimous. We didn't want him, so we're no giving him any chance whatsoever.
Kachina.
Nobody knew him to judge him.
Exactly, mate. That was it. People were like, "What's he done to get the Rangers job?" Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least you could look at Clement's credentials. All right, he's won a couple of titles in Bruges. You know, he's got a wee bit of pedigree. He's played at a kind of high level. Gio, obviously, we knew he played at a high level. He'd coached with Feyenoord. Gerrard was completely off the cuff, but we knew the stature that he was going to bring to the club. And, well, Warburton was a risk as well, but he had built up quite a quick reputation with Brentford. And to be fair, he played a nice style of football in the Championship, but he was so caught out of it. And this is what we're watching all over again. It just looks like a combination. Beale should never been given the job in the first place. You know my thoughts on that one. But it just looks so disorganised. But there's a lot of players out there hiding as well, Ox, and happy for the manager to get all the criticism and all the flack. And the players are just heed down, they slink away. The players are due some of that as well. And to be fair, Russell Martin called them out after the Motherwell game, and we were all like, brilliant. That's the manager we should be looking for. But it's as if they've all turned against it. Has he lost the dressing room? Have they all down tools on him already? And the support's just jumped in and weighed in on him again. And there we go, and they're having their steam up another manager.
If it wouldn't have been for the second half performance last night, mate, I would have said aye. You know, when I in the cold light of day, when I started thinking about it today, that's something that was in my head, and I've thought that's a possibility. Quickly, there's a split in the camp. You know, new players, older players, people wanting to leave. There's maybe too many hanging about that are waiting for transfers. You know, we'll name some of them. And other ones who are maybe in the team are maybe waiting for transfers, right or wrongly. So you've got all that to deal with. That's the problem with the transfer one day, if I'm honest, mate. Yeah, I don't like it, never have done. I don't think it's good for the game, if I'm honest. But however, he got a response at half time, and that was the only pleasing thing in the whole game last night. There was a bit of response. We got 3-1 and could have made it 3-2. We weren't arguably much better than them in the second half, but we got a response. But it's not looking good, Davy. That's small victories, isn't it?
Oh, you're spot on, Ox. You know, my biggest concern was how their heads dropped down. That was a concern to me. But I think when you look at, if you look at the newer players that's there, they've never played in that environment in their life. It's totally alien, and that can be very frightening. But when your defence, or whatever you want to call it, we lose 3 goals in 19 minutes, that's when you see the character of football players. And we just never had that. And that's a lot to ask for these young guys. Only one guy that turned up was a young boy at fullback. But the rest they just evaporated into neighbour. I don't want to know. That's a worry.
Oh, I agree with you, Davy. I agree with you. And we've said it before, you need character to wear that jersey. You can't, they're no hiding place. But they seem to hide. It's very easy, you know, to stand next to a player and say, well, I can't get the ball, you can't pass it to me. And that's how they hide. And it looked as if, I mean, Raskin was busy, as I say, but just because he's got dirt in his shorts, it doesn't mean that he's had a good game. He was getting overrun there. And by the way, thinking about it, Bruges, Belgian team, he's a Belgian international. That's got to be shown live in his home country. He'd be desperate to impress you, would have thought. How's that going to look for his international manager?
I think these have been unfair. I think you missed out one boy who deserves a bit of plaudits last night as well. Gassama.
Who's that?
Gassama.
Oh, Gassama. Oh, 100%. Well, the two of them are the only two players.
He was great.
Aye, definitely.
I know.
What about the impact of Igaman compared to Danilo? Did you see much of a difference?
No, me anyway.
Different type of players. He still looks as if he's carrying. He still doesn't look fit, mate. Yeah. There's stories circulating that he's come back no fit, mate. And he ain't happy. But somebody doesn't want to be at your club, get the right offer and move on, mate. We know that.
Another Morelos.
Aye, we don't want to get through that again, mate. If it's the right time, move him on, get the money and move on. There was one last night when he'd done something that was outstanding a couple of times. And there was one he got in the box and it was just, he got a chance to put it across. And I can't remember who was in the middle. There was a chance for a potential tap-in and he just tried to beat the player one more time, mate. And that could have made it interesting as well. Look, we know he's an entertainer, mate, and he's all over the place. But the trouble with him when he's on, mate, you have to get a centre forward.
Yeah. I know. His physical attributes is better than Danilo. I mean, Danilo was busy at the first half, but ineffective because when you're pressing, you need to press as a unit. You're only pressing individually. You're just going to get a runner in because all the players, it looks as if they're feared to come out of position for a counter-attack. But you need to do it with intent and you need to do it, you know, collectively together. When you're only doing it one at a time, you're just going to get passed through. And it looks silly on him and he's burning energy.
He's got to be judged on what he does with the ball or when he gets chances, mate, not just shutting players down. He scored a goal last night, so he got a chance and he scored. But his play, he's when the ball's played up to him, mate, and this coming away back. I mean, he's meant to be centre forward and he's coming 40 yards out of position to get involved in the play. It's obviously a tactic. It's crazy football, mate. Crazy. And he's likely any time he get bumped and then they're right in database and sometimes maybe through and goal. He's a victim of the system, and also he's another one, if I'm honest, mate. If we could get a deal, let's do it. But you can't get rid of everybody, Davey.
You're dead right. But I feel that at the moment we've just, it's more so like the European games. They've came far too early for us with that rebuild. You can call it all you want. We've been calling that a rebuild since about 10 years ago. But when the amount of changes that's had to be made, all these games have came quick and too fast for us. And they're just no gelling. Whether it's the system, I don't know if it's the system. Hopefully we might see some light out in the tunnel if that doesn't start to develop into anything. But I think there's too many there that hardly even know each other. Because they seem to be looking at each other and going, where am I supposed to be here? Where am I going to run to next? And that's just going to happen through playing games. And I just think these games are big games have came too early. But he's still been poor in the other games and things like that, so he can't get away with it.
Oh, it's results, AK. Ultimately, it's results, isn't it?
Of course it is, pal. And when you see the next set of fixtures we've got coming up, St Mirren, 12 o'clock kick-off, Bruges, Celtic, Hearts and Hibs. Wow. It's he's next in the chopping line with a lot of supporters that's out there, and they're looking for a reaction, looking for a response, and nothing less than wins, particularly domestically. I think, being honestly, the Bruges game might be beyond us unless we get an early goal and a completely different team performance. But the domestic games are vitals. You're looking win. Can we do that? It's a tall ask with the way we're playing.
If you're honest, that's what you would say is a top ask, mate. I don't think you're wrong in that rationale. Because we're not playing well, mate. And it's we're not making enough chances and we're losing goals. It's not a good combination, Davey, is it?
Oh, it's dire to watch. When I'm listening to the callers and I'm listening to some of the podcasts, David Edgar with Heart and Hand and all that, and everybody's on the same boat, with their opinion regarding it, and everybody's coming up with the same conclusion. Where do we go now? So we've just got to we don't surrender to nobody, guys, we know that. I mean, see if it wasn't for all the young boys singing away last night, belting it out, even at 3-0 they were giving it loudly. I take my hat off to these kids. Because if they hadn't been there last night and the ones that were gone, that would have been so depressing. And that's just not what we are. We're Glasgow Rangers. Win, lose or draw. It's just what we're watching and what we've been going through in the last few good seasons. It's catching up now. And it's just getting, as I said, it's getting scary now. But I've got every faith that we'll turn this round. But whether it's for this guy, I can't see it. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. But there's still a few players to maybe come in to sort out the jigsaw puzzle. And as you say, they'll get a lot of them out or no. So time's not on my side, but that's the biggest killer. Time's not on our side.
No, I get that, Davey. I get that. AK.
Davey, you're right, mate. And we'd be disingenuous if we weren't concerned about what we're watching. I know I like to try and be positive about what we're looking at, but my eyes don't lie to me. But I just don't like this merry-go-round that we're on. It keeps sacking managers, and then, we're going round about the squad again, and we try to get rid of players, and then we're trying to bring in players, because that's got to stop sometime with some manager, a manager that we trust. We gave Gerrard 3 years to get it right, to get his team out on the park, and eventually we got there with a league title. But that was it.
Sorry, this guy's not going to get 3 months, never mind 3 years.
I know. But after the Caixinha season, the support was was so down, because of what we were watching and the humiliations that they were getting at the hands of them and the European defeats. 100%. But he brought leadership in there. He had the character to fill the role as Rangers manager. The shirt and tie, he respected the traditions of the club. Russell Martin, is it people held that against him because he's went kind of casual and say, stuff the traditions. That's another one. Stick for the support.
Does they help me?
Maybe they're right.
The perceptions.
Maybe they're right. Aye, get a shave. Bill Struth had 2 suits, famously, that he wore it every single day because that was the respect that he had for our club, and all the other managers after Bill Struth respected their standards as well. So maybe the support are right there. Tell Russell Martin, no, come on, shirt and tie. You're the figurehead of this club, so you need to start acting like it. Maybe that's contributing to the negative effect of him as well. But he needs to get results. You're right, Ox.
He needs a haircut, I know. Keep
All
flicking
these
that
things.
hair back, annoys me.
Aye, only because you're jealous, Davy.
How do you know? You've never met me. I'm a good-looking baldy man.
Listen, if you're winning football matches, you could be standing there with nothing on. Nobody would care. No,
Yeah, you're right there.
but obviously, all these things come to the fore when people aren't happy, and people aren't happy. People who are, if you like, moderate guys. I'll use the guy as a legend on here, Mr. Fox. He's one of the most positive, most honest, fair Rangers supporters I've ever dealt with. And even he's saying, "Oh, this isn't working," and he doesn't come to that conclusion easily.
Yeah.
I hope
right.
he doesn't mind me saying that. Vicky.
No, nailed it, mate. Aye, Fox is very positive outlook, and he's just honest. We're all being honest. That's where it is, and it is worrying. It is worrying. And with the games coming up, he needs to turn this around and turn it around quickly. And it starts at St Mirren. But please win. That's all you need to do. Please.
Anyway, Davey, a last word for your good self.
It's just a pity the way things are panning out, guys. But I always keep believing, and that's all we can do. And it's bloody hard to do that. But thanks for taking my call, guys. And it's always a pleasure to hear Alec and yourselves. And Big Terry's a star. You should get him on the show. He's brilliant. I can't get rid of him at times when he's on the phone. I don't mean that, Terry. I'm only joking. I'm only kidding. Anyway, good night, guys. God bless the Rangers, and we are the people. We always will be.
Cheers,
David. Last word for your good self, AK.
Thanks again for the show. It wasn't the most positive outlook show, but we're honest. We try to be as honest as we possibly can on this platform, Rangers Radio. So I'm hoping everybody enjoyed the listen, and we're back to the drawing board, but try and keep faith in the team. Never lose faith. We are the people.
Yes, apples grow again. It's just a matter of when. Listen, thanks to Jimbo for joining us, Davey, your good self, AK, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Blue.